Hello, thank you everyone for joining me today to talk about COVID volunteering. I'm really looking forward to our community conversation. So before we talk about volunteering and volunteering during the pandemic, if we can just go around the visual room and just do a quick introduction about ourselves. So the person to my right is Jenny, who is our digital marketing lead. Hi Jenny.
Hello, yes, I am the digital marketing lead for One Community. I've been in post for about 3 years now, and I absolutely love it. I get to work with really interesting people. It's a creative role, and my role sits within the whole organisation of One Community. But my team that I'm managed and work in is community and voluntary services.
Okay, thank you so much, Jenny. And next on the screen here is Carol. Hi, Carol.
Hello everyone. I'm Carol. I've worked for One Community for approximately 6 years in different roles. Recently, I've been down the museum with Naomi, and we've taken on a lot of the COVID work, recruitment for flow testing and vaccine. Found it really interesting and made a lot of friends within One Community for my time there.
Thank you, Carol. And next on my screen is Zaina. Hello, Zaina.
Hello, Naomi. Hello, everyone. My name is Zaina Nazir. I'm co-founder of Cities Forum and researcher, doctoral researcher at the University of Southampton. I have been with One Community for a bit less than a year. Basically, I joined since COVID time, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm a volunteer, and I help mainly in translation for French and Arabic to English.
Thank you. And hello, Tanya.
Hi everyone, my name's Tanya. I volunteer in Fareham, currently at the rapid flow testing clinic, and have been since it opened 6 weeks ago. And then prior to that, I've been with One Community doing some other COVID support in the community for a couple of weeks before that. So I've been around for about a couple of months and loving it.
That's good. That's really great to hear. So my first question, for this conversation is, what made you want to volunteer? If we start with Carol for that.
Yeah, I retired about 10 years ago, and suddenly you're at home. You don't get to meet people like you did in an office. So I thought then I need to volunteer. So I actually went to One Community, and Jo, the young carer leader, was actually coming down the stairs at the time, and she said, I need somebody. So I went and helped with young carers. It followed on from there. I did a bit of reception work for One Community. And then when they changed offices, I went to the museum with Naomi. And then once the COVID recruitment started, it sort of went a bit mad. So we both ended up helping on the recruitment side of things.
Okay. And who would like to go next? Tanya?
Yeah, I can do. So I'm not working like many other people at the moment. My job, unfortunately, can't happen during lockdown. So really, I was looking for something to keep myself out of mischief, lift me out of a bit of a spot where I was feeling kind of a bit unchanneled, maybe is a good way of putting it. And actually struggling a little bit because I'm used to being extremely busy, so sort of floating around with not much purpose. So I've always been quite a community-minded sort of person, but have not always perhaps had a massive amount of time to devote to that. So this was an opportunity for me, really. And I suppose with a long game in mind, if you're in a business that depends on us coming out of the current situation as soon as possible, then it's good to be involved in that process. Testing is obviously a massive part of that. So there was, there's more than one motive to it for me. It's literally been the most rewarding thing I think I've been involved in. So I'm really, really glad I did it. But yeah, that's pretty much the reason why from the outset.
Okay, thank you. And Zaina?
Yeah, same like Tanya. It's extremely rewarding, and I feel the same way. I'm actually kind of the opposite. I'm doing too many things at the same time, kind of multitasking. But when COVID came, I felt like life has stopped, and I felt like, it's time to kind of give in to the community, and it was the best thing to do. Basically, just to feel that you want to be useful, productive, because we had good few months of, we had no idea what's going on. So I think when you're volunteering and you're making a difference to other people's life, this is where you feel, you kind of feel some, like a reason to be. So for me, it was actually more useful to me than I believe to the people who received the help.
Okay, and just to touch base on that, Zaina, what is sort of a typical day for you for volunteering?
Excuse me, what?
What is a typical day for you for volunteering? Because I know you do lots of different things.
A typical day basically would be just to check on people. We have basically a number that I believe Naomi will be able to provide to the audience. People would be calling. Sometimes people feel lonely. They need to talk to someone. It could be that some families are joining, coming to the country, and they're having problems with communicating. So I'm helping them with kind of translation, but also the fact that I come from a different culture. I understand people coming from, you know, basically an Arabic culture. So I can kind of help explain to them how things go here. I've been in this country for 17 years in the UK. So I kind of understand the culture here, and I do have this, I feel I'm very fortunate and lucky that I have this basically benefit of understanding both cultures. So it's important to explain to people about the culture here. I think this helps a lot to feel kind of integrate, because this is very important. And language is it could be a big plus if people can speak it. If people cannot communicate well, it can be a big barrier and big problem. Because you need to communicate, and that's the only way to do it, through languages and music, but I don't do music. I love music, but I don't play it.
Cool. And Carol, what is a typical volunteering day for you? Because I know that you often help at the museum for 2 days a week, pre-COVID.
Yeah, normally we're down at the museum meeting people and chatting to them. But of course, all that's stopped now. And so typically now we're processing all the applications of all you wonderful people that are happy to help out.
Yeah, we love applications.
Oh, we love applications.
It's a trigger word, applications.
And then the other thing I do is the basics thanks delivery for people that can't get out to get their food. And that's been quite rewarding. And you realise how people are struggling.
Yeah.
No, completely. And Tanya, what's a typical volunteering day for you? Because I know you are quite busy helping us out, which we, totally appreciate.
Yeah, so I've been doing 3 mornings at the testing clinic. So we arrive at about 8:15 on those days. Yeah. And the first thing we do is have our test, which is obviously lovely. Then we are helping people through the morning up until about 12, half 12, when the next shift arrives for the afternoon. So I'm there in the mornings in a variety of roles, but actually I've tended to end up being kind of front of house with lots of other people, helping with the registration process, which is using tech, which has been a bit of a challenge for some people. So I've become a tech expert, which is hilarious in itself. Just helping people with the process and trying to reassure them a little bit about having the actual test. So yeah, 3 mornings a week doing that. And then I've kept up the companion calling that I started before. I've just got one lady that I'm doing that with at the moment, but I'm doing a weekly phone call with her.
Right.
I absolutely, if anybody is even thinking about doing that, I totally encourage you to. It's so nice because I think I do some shopping delivery and prescriptions as well, which is lovely too, because you're really helping people out. And you, like Zaina said, you really get a sense of in which ways people are struggling and stuff when you're on their doorstep. But I think probably the companion calling is the most rewarding thing that I've done, because I've spoken to this lady every week, probably for about 6 weeks now, and we've really built up a really good rapport. and we talk for a long time. In fact, it was like 2 hours this week. There was a lot to talk about, and I really noticed the difference from the moment that I speak, that she picks up the phone, the change in her from beginning to end of the conversation, just by having someone to chat to about stuff. It's just been great. I love it, and I will definitely be trying to continue that even when I'm back at work, because I can just feel the value that provides, even though I've not seen her face to face. It's just great. So yeah, quite varied for me. I pick up prescription and shopping stuff when I'm able to. So if I've got free time, that's what I really like about it, actually. I probably should say that. You might say the same, Carol. I don't know whether your role is kind of as reactive as that, but I like that. I like the fact that it's there, and if you're able to give more, you can give more. If you can't do anything that day, then you just don't answer. And there's always other people there who are, doing that instead. So you don't feel bad for not being able to offer help. But it's nice that it's reactive like that.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Tanya. I'm sorry. I agree with you, Tanya, especially that you build this connection. So the lady, I know that the lady you speak to every week. So you build this connection, and you feel that you're getting back something as well while giving. So it's really kind of give and take. Yeah, I totally relate. I
feel really uplifted when I come off the phone to her, and there are some things going on in her world that are pretty alien to me. But so I'm learning a lot as well, I think, about what other things people are going through in their lives that I've never been touched by. So that's really valuable. But yeah, I've been trying to get the call on a Friday afternoon, because at the end of my week, before I begin my weekend with my family, that's like a really nice uplifting thing to do with her. I come off really buzzing, even if there's been difficult things to talk about. I think the buzz is knowing that you've made a difference. And it's just friendship, really, I suppose, as well. It's nice. It's a nice feeling.
Yeah, I must admit, my mother has a telephone companion call, and she finds the same. She knows Tuesday mornings she can wait by the phone for a phone call, so she's got something when she gets up that morning. She knows what's happening that day. And
that's lovely, isn't it?
Means a lot to her.
That's lovely, because the bit I like is that how much it seems to mean to you as volunteers, almost probably as much as it means to the person that you're ringing. It's like you start off thinking, oh, I'll help this person, but actually you end up feeling really yourself. It's great.
I think it's nice for them to know that as well. I actually spoke to this lady and said to her on Friday when we spoke, I'm getting as much out of this as you are. I really enjoy speaking. I told her, I said to her, I really enjoy speaking with you, because then it doesn't feel like you're helping them. They're not the kind of helpy. It's mutual. And I think that's really important for them to know, because it's a two-way thing. Then it helps their self-worth and their self-value, because they know that they're helping somebody else as well.
Yeah.
Completely. And if I can just touch based on that as well. So during lockdown 1, I set up, I wanted to help, but like all of us, we weren't quite sure what was going to happen. And a refuge based in Hampshire contacted us to advise that some families needed, things to buy, but with all, people who were on a low income, they couldn't sort of go into charity shops to buy anything. So Carol also helped me. I'm sure she won't mind me mentioning that we set up Team Awesome, didn't we, Carol?
We did.
Oh.
And what we did was
this term Team Awesome, but I don't know what Team Awesome is. So I'm looking forward to finding out.
So I spoke to Carol and I said, right, I think we need to help. I said, I don't know quite how we can do. So we put our heads together, didn't we? And some of my other team as well, based on the museum via phone call. And what we did was we arranged a collection, to pick up items that could be need for, families in need. And that's how I met Zaina through a mutual aid group, and we've, remained in contact as well. So I was expecting, I'm not exaggerating, I was expecting maybe a couple of bags for this Hampshire-based refuge. And Carol will back me up on this. I actually had 4 huge carloads of items for these families. And it was, I just felt so good. I just thought, we are really making a difference here. Going to lockdown I'm sure it's nothing that any of us have experienced before. And to do that, we were, picking up items, and Carol was picking up items as well. And I was giving her directions about which, places to go to. And, didn't you, Carol? You picked up lots of things for the families, which was good. Okay, no, thank you for that. So, Carol, can you also give me a quick outline of a case study, how you've helped someone?
Oh, just one. Yeah,
it's disappearing in the middle of.
Yeah, I think on the Basics Bank, there is one family that I have got to know. That it is sort of 2 adults. Well, it's really 4 adults, or 2 adults and 2 grown children. And you arrive there and you realise they've absolutely got nothing, and they're just so grateful. And during the start of the pandemic, it was just somebody, as though they wanted somebody to talk to. And you left the shopping on the doorstep for them, and yeah, they just came out and they were so grateful for having it delivered to them, because you could actually tell they had nothing. And yeah, that was quite rewarding to actually do it. And we've also found that a lot of people have struggled for books, especially people on their own. They've read everything they've got. So we've been scouring around getting books where we can. And yeah, again, just to drop the books off on the doorstep, and perhaps they haven't seen anybody for a whole day. They're so grateful. It's quite rewarding, actually.
It is completely. And just to touch base on that, an elderly individual contacted us to advise they don't really like to watch TV. They read a book a day. That's what they do, and they keep their mind active. They want to, isn't it, Carol? Every day a book needs to be read. And it's a genre I didn't have too much information on, but again, we all came together as Team Awesome, and we actually, Carol dropped off 3 boxes of books. So that was good for that person.
That is really awesome.
She's grateful. She wants more.
She does. It's like, I think the shops will be opening soon. Okay, so now we're going to just touch base with Jenny. So as we mentioned, Jenny's our digital marketing lead. So Jenny, how have you adapted your digital marketing during the current pandemic?
Yeah, we have really adapted it. I think we've had about a 45% increase in our social media traffic since the start of lockdown. So I think up until now, people who have used social media regularly will think, oh yeah, we use social media, we keep in touch what's going on locally. But before lockdown, there are a lot of people who didn't really see the point in it, but now they kind of do. So yeah, it's just because everything, like information like Team Awesome, etc., I will share on social media. So One Community has a Facebook page, a Twitter page, an Instagram feed, and they have a LinkedIn page. Also, we have a website. So the things that I put on there are general information, but also if we've got a call for something like books, for example, we had something recently where our transport department, they were taking mostly older people, but vulnerable people to their jabs, to have their vaccines. And it's quite cold in February in those buses. So they asked if we could have some blankets, and loads of people responded, which was really great. So that kind of communication has become stronger, I would say. We've seen a big increase in upskilling, so that people who actually had never used Zoom or Teams or any like video media like this, all of a sudden needed to know how to do it. And so kind of have stumbled through, and now we've had little bits of training on it here and there, which has been great. We've seen a big increase in virtual volunteering. So like Tanya was saying about her calls that she's making, that's like virtual volunteering. Or in the past, we would have said, oh, could you meet so-and-so for a coffee somewhere, but actually now doing it on the phone, that's just like another string to our bow, really. And people have said how much they've enjoyed it, how much it's much more accessible to them because they work hours otherwise. And we think, oh, okay, we're going to keep that then. So that's been great. And I think like things like micro volunteering, people have been doing online for us. So things like just simple things like liking our posts, sharing what we're doing, subscribing to our YouTube channel, taking part of citizen science. So we've been sharing about the great bird watch and things in the gardens and doing links to that. So just things that make you as a good human, really. And we've been sharing lots of those things. It's really interesting. People have come back to us saying, oh, have you seen this happening in Hedge End? And we'll share that. But really, it is truly about one community, really, and how it's come together at these most difficult of times to support one another and to make the best of a difficult situation.
Completely. And any other stats you can share with us at all? So maybe digital marketing uptake prior to the pandemic, to the pandemic,
so
or
we have gained about just in our followers, and we're just like one community, we're just one organisation, but we have gained over 200 followers in the last 6 months, and these are people that we didn't know previously. So we've definitely seen an increase. I think the biggest change has been the amount of people who are listening to our podcasts on Unity 101. Podcasting has grown by 58% in a year.